Tech giants like Microsoft and Google are outsourcing more and more coding to AI in a productivity push. But some new research shows the tools might not be as helpful as some expect. Our Deirdre Bose is digging into that for today's Tech Check. Happy Friday, Dee.
Happy Friday. Good morning, Carl. So this is some cold water poured on the AI productivity hype. Researchers at Meter, which is an AI nonprofit research firm, ran a real-world trial and found that seasoned engineers were actually 19% slower when using AI tools like Cursor. Instead of speeding them up, the AI often gave suggestions that looked helpful, but actually required time-consuming corrections. Now, this undercuts a core Wall Street narrative that AI will supercharge white-collar efficiency and unlock a wave of productivity gains across the enterprise. Instead, the study suggests that the return on AI coding, it may be more uneven, less immediate than investors have priced in. Now, there is some nuance here. Prior studies from Meter have shown a more straightforward benefit to junior engineers from AI tools, particularly for simpler, well-scoped tasks. Now, this latest suggests that while it can help that group level up, it may actually be increasing reliance on senior talent because someone still needs to debug, refine, and ship the final product. So that helps explain the current talent wars, where Zuckerberg is throwing $100 million offers at top AI engineers. They're more essential than ever. Meanwhile, new data shows that AI adoption appears to be stalling more broadly. Ramp, this is a platform that tracks enterprise software spend. It shows that paid AI tool usage was flat at about 40% after a very steep run-up over the past year. Now, in the most aggressive sectors for adoption, tech and finance, there was actually a slight pullback. Now, I spoke yesterday to Ramp CEO Eric Lyman, who told me that companies are trying these tools. They're not always working, and so they're asking eventually, where's the value? At the same time, though, he says that the pullback comes after explosive adoption. At the start of 2023, he says maybe 1 in 20 companies were using AI tools. Today, it's almost 1 out of 2 companies on Ramp that are spending on them. Now, when you look across the tech giants themselves, AI coding, it is already embedded. Google and Meta say that around 50% of their code is now written by AI. So the takeaway here, the tools, they're certainly being used. They're here. The payoff may just be more uneven than the hype suggests, and perhaps it plateaus at a certain point, justifying those huge paychecks for the most senior research AI analysts.
I think what's really interesting, though, is, I mean, if you have these companies that go in and say, yeah, but our engineers are spending all of this time going back in and revising the suggestions from the AI tools, does that feedback make it back to the providers of the technology, and therefore the kinks get worked? Maybe it's by AI, but the kinks get worked out, and that's the very feedback that helps them, maybe not this year, but next year, the year after, improve that performance.
It's a great point, right? The AI is also learning from these senior engineers that are debugging, that are refining the algorithm. So maybe it does get better. And I think that's why you see this huge push for AGI or superintelligence, the idea that eventually the models are smarter than even humans, so they can do 90 or even 100% of the coding. But I think the takeaway here, too, is, though, that these tools are used at different levels. For junior engineers, they can be really useful. It's the engineers who go into a new job and are able to prompt. That levels them up. But at the very top, when you know the code source so well and you're a senior engineer, you're spending a lot of time rechecking. So maybe it's the middle that gets squeezed
here. And the point that we were making, last hour, we were actually talking to Deirdre about whether the openness to change is different when you're a senior engineer than when you're a junior. Junior engineers may just be also more open to using those kinds of tools in their job. So that we'll watch it.
That's dangerous too, though, right? Because the junior engineers may be accepting code that isn't 100% correct, or creating more work later on for the senior engineers if that code hasn't been checked early on.
Nobody ever thought of that.
The point, though, is that it's not a straight line.
Deirdre, thank you so much. Really fascinating Tech Check today.